All right, so we should be live right now. So just before we begin the interview, real quick, I plug my Instagram. For those of you guys tuning in late or tuning in right now, make sure you give me a follow on Instagram, iHoopsFL. So I post all the highlights, all the best of the best clips. So any of these interviews I've ever done. And also, if you guys want to see any of the other work that I've done around the world of basketball, I also post all the articles I've written for a company down here in South Florida, along with a lot of scouting takes and all that stuff from any game I go to now. You're going to be seeing some scouting tweets by me. So definitely recommend you follow my Twitter as well at iHoopsRecruits. So again, iHoopsFL for interview stuff, Twitter at iHoopsRecruits for articles and some scouting stuff. A lot of South Florida basketball information. But let's get this interview underway. I'm very blessed to be bringing on. I'm pretty sure the top player in Alabama for your class, Cade
Yeah,
Phillips. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Before we kind of start getting into things, is there anything you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
I mean, not really. My Instagram, which I think it looks like it's in the bar down
Yeah,
below, Cade Phillips 12, CADEFPHILLIPS 12. But that's really it.
yeah. But anyways, I guess we should get right into it. And before I press go live, like you told me, you're watching the Buccaneers Saints game right now.
Yep.
It's obviously like I'm about to go upstairs. I see 2020. I don't know if that's the same score, but and then I also asked you, I'm like, did you play football? I had a good feeling you did, being from Alabama, and say you did. Can you talk about like what it's like being a dual sport athlete?
Well, I mean, honestly, the nowadays a lot of kids are sticking with that single sport. Their parents are really kind of forcing them into that. That they need to like perfect a craft, but my parents have always preached that sports build off each other, and just being an athlete just goes throughout sports. And so the physicality of football and the footwork. I played safety and linebacker this year, and that plays into basketball, finishing through contact, moving your feet, guard when you're in front of a guard. Being 6'8", but going to a smaller school, I have to move my feet, and guard guards every now and then. So those really played in together, and so I'm going to continue to play football for a while, and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say that because I don't know, like I at least for myself, I'm not a parent, but I would say if I was like I think I want my kids honing in on one sport. Like I don't want to risk injury in this sport or that. Like is that ever something scary for you? Because a lot of players I talk to, I mean I'm kind of surprised, but I feel like almost not majority, but at least 30% of the basketball players I've interviewed have played football at one time or another, and they always said they quit. Like one player told me he quit because he was playing and saw his friend get injured, and after that day, he said he was done. Like he was just too nervous. Like, do you ever get scared? Because I mean, that like football, that sport's like super dangerous.
Yeah, you're right. There is moments, but like I just honestly, I feel like that if you play the game the right way, getting injured, I mean, just the same amount of chance of getting injured in basketball as you do as football. So and I feel like the reward from football is into basketball is including the working out and everything that goes into it and funnels into basketball. I feel like that is worth the risk almost. I guess you should say, but yeah, that pops in my head a good bit, especially with my basketball coach at the high school. He gets nervous during the season, and but it's the way I've been since a kid, and I've continued that way up until high school. So.
And I mean, you got a couple offers from some of the big time football programs. I mean, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, they're great for basketball, but for football, that's pretty next level. Is there any chance like you may just try to continue playing football in college, and have a lot of schools talk to you about that?
I've had a good bit of schools talk to me about football. I mean, but it's always with the plus, like throwing 50 pounds, which I mean that's way easier said than done. Because a 6'8", 260 defensive end sounds pretty nice, but I don't know if I'll go there, and I should have a couple more inches of growth left, and so basketball looks like it's where it's at right now, but you never know, you really do never know. So.
Yeah, and just in general, like, have you had any schools recruit you just for football specifically, or has it only been basketball?
Um, I've had some coaches reach out to my high school coach for football, JSU, Jacksonville State University in Alabama. It's a Division I school,
Yeah.
pretty local, FCS, but I think they're moving to the FBS pretty soon. Um, they offered me in about I think it was eighth or ninth grade to play DN and tight end. And then, but a couple schools have called my high school coach. I think Kentucky did for football. I think it might have been last year. And then just some on interests, them telling them that I'm on their board for football, but nothing too big.
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty interesting. But you just said so. Wait, what? In freshman year, you played defensive end and tight end, and then what? Like last year, you were playing, or I guess this year you were playing what like safety and linebacker. I think you said what you
Uh,
played like positions.
well, my main position was probably like linebacker this year, but I was on all three different levels, probably every other play. So it just, I mean, I've worked on versatility. I've played in different positions for football, and just being. I mean, I'm a weird size to play football. It's if you don't see many
Yeah,
6'8" dudes playing football.
yeah. That's what I was
So
thinking. I wasn't surprised you played football, but when you told me you were 6'8", and I knew you were a big man, I was like, like this is like a little bit weird. And that's what I was
oh
kind of
no,
thinking.
no, it is, and the looks I get from teams and all that, it's kind of funny, but so like yeah, I've played all kinds of positions on defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like with football, like I know, but wasn't Julian Edelman like a quarterback, and now he's a wide receiver? Wasn't that the
I
case?
think it was something like that. I think he was a quarterback all the way into college, wasn't he? Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
wrong.
think he was a quarterback in college too. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. So like, is football is it not that hard to play different positions? Like I can't believe the guy went from quarterback to wide. Like I mean, in my opinion, that's a pretty big change, and he's succeeding in it too. Like, is it not as hard as I may think it is in terms of changing positions in football?
Well, I don't play offense. Offense. It would be way more difficult. But defense, everybody understands their job and understands everybody else's job. And so if you're playing DN and you understand your job and you understand the guy behind you's job is to fill in here, that when you get moved into that job behind you, that it should just go hand in hand. And honestly, you probably have a better understanding of the position coming from another one. So they kind of just build off each other.
Okay. And something else that was pretty cool we talked about just a little bit, that quick like 2-minute conversation before we, press live and start the interview
Yeah.
was I asked you like what position are you? Because if for you guys watching right now, I ask every player this because I got to put in that little bottom line you see there. But you told me you're power forward, like trying to work with that small forward role, but you do take a lot of pride in being a big. Obviously, you're 6'8", so it's gonna come naturally, but can you explain? Because a lot of bigs now, like they don't take pride of being a big, like they want to be a guard. So
Oh
can you
yeah.
explain why you have that mentality where you're a power forward and you're proud to be one?
Oh yeah. It's just kind of a mentality that as a kid, I played up, and so going from guard to big man, I was a little young, and but so I mean, it was just it. I love playing being a big man. It's kind of becoming a lost art almost. I don't do a whole lot of back to the basket, a lot of high post, top of the key, going to work. But honestly, just being able to enforce your will on somebody and getting somebody who a big trying to work on being a guard when they can just slowly perfect their craft in each position and become a more whole player. I'm just working at one thing at a time, and being a big man right now is what's working. And so I'm gonna keep working on being a big, but I got in the NBA right now it's a positionless game. So we're gonna have to start working on getting guard play.
Yeah, and I was about to ask because you're saying like you're being guarded by these guys where they're trying to be guards, so it's obviously easier for you. But at the end of the day, I agree where you're coming from, but like it's just so tough when again the NBA is positionless basketball. So even though you're almost working smarter, not harder, whatever, and these guys are like trying to do too much almost, and now they're kind
Oh
of
yeah.
not benefiting from it when they have to guard you. But at the end of the day, I mean these guys don't have a better chance of succeeding than over you, even though you're kind of doing the right thing. So. Have you ever started like working on a lot of ball handling and all that stuff, or when do you think you're gonna try to
Uh,
do yourself more? Because now at this point, like you said, it's a lost art. Like it's gonna have to come where you're gonna need to really develop your game to a different level.
oh yeah, but as of probably the last year, I've really been getting to work, especially with TSF over in Atlanta. We have great trainers, bunch of guys over there, but and we got a coach that believes in turning our bigs into guards and getting us because he understands the next level just as well as anybody else, Julian Barfield, and so I've been really working on a shot, making shots off the move, creating shots, and really passing. So for the past year, it's been really like, all right, we gotta kick it into gear, and really perfect your craft almost. More like expand your craft
Yeah.
almost.
What's maybe your most like underrated skill as a big man? Like, what's something that a lot of people think you can do, but you could actually do it pretty well?
Honestly, my passing ability, I've taken pride in that since a child. I mean, since like just the peewee almost little elementary games. I've always taken pride in passing and finding the open man. My coach in high school is not too fond of the fancy behind the back passes, over the head passes, but I do take pride in that a lot.
So you're able to throw passes like without even looking at the player sometimes?
Yeah, yes, sir. The no look passes. I might get subbed out every now and then for them, but when they do work, they're nice.
Yeah, can you explain like because that I mean, yeah, how do players even work on that? Like throwing a pass and not looking at the person. How does that even happen?
Honestly, it's just chemistry with your teammates. One of my best friends is the point guard Ryan Scott at our high school, and so just being in the gym with him since being a kid. I mean, we live next door to each other, and just knowing where he's gonna be before he really does, and just feeling the offense and defense, and just kind of just patterns. Honestly, just memorizing your teammates' patterns and where they're gonna be when they're gonna cut there, or they're gonna pop, rotate to the corner. Um, so it's just honestly reps, just getting reps with teammates.
And you said your one of your good friends and your point guard lives like right next door to you. I don't know if he's literally right next door or like a couple houses down or whatever, but still obviously very close. You said your school's small. Do you live in one of those like small Alabama towns? I'm just wondering.
It's a I live in a smaller part. It's a bigger town. It's about an hour north of Birmingham. It's called Gadsden, Alabama. So I live in a smaller part of it and go to a smaller school. But we have like a 7A level school, which is I think graduating 500 plus a year, and a bunch of medium schools. So we're probably the smallest school in the county, but it's for the stereotypical small town Alabama. I'm not, but probably for somebody coming out of state, it's a smaller town.
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, because I was asked a lot of questions, like, growing up in that stereotypical small. That was gonna be my next question. Like, so do you live in a stereotypical small town? But I guess not. But with Alabama in general, I mean, the Alabama hoop scene just seems super like underexposed, if that's even like the right word. Like a lot of the players over
Oh
there,
yeah,
I feel like, I can name three players from no, I guess four. Like I got like Keyshawn, Jay Davidson, Caleb, and you. So that's four players
yeah.
in a whole state. Where it's not a small state. Like it's not Rhode Island.
Mm-mm.
It's a decently sized state. So I mean, is that how do players handle that and living in such an under recruited basketball state?
Honestly, it's we have great athletes in Alabama. It's football very overshadows in Alabama, which is a big problem with getting exposure for basketball. But I mean, like you said, you named probably like four, and all those guys are going to be Division One. I mean, JD's top 15 in the country, and so people really rely on either getting out of the state to play AAU, or just doing stuff that's just too special to ignore, like what JD's been doing. He kind of stayed in state for most of his high school career. He did have the short time with the Celtics over in Atlanta, but he's really kind of been in Alabama the whole time. But so it's really just it isn't under there's not a whole lot of exposure, but as of recent, there's been more exposure than there has been. So at least we're moving somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And with the guy Jay Davidson, like, are there maybe any Alabama players that I'm sure there's not many, but are there any Alabama players that you kind of use as role models or anything like that?
Honestly, Trendon Wofford, who graduated, what was that, probably 3 years ago over to LSU,
Yeah.
and he's at LSU now. He kind of dominated. He was over at Mountain Brook, a powerhouse, and he was a big man that dominated, could move down the floor. Um, a good role model for Alabama. He really did a good job of just getting his name out there with not as much exposure. I'm pretty sure they beat IMG that year too.
Well,
In the
They did. They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think of that. That's a pretty good player to monitor yourself. I have no idea how I forgot about him.
Oh yeah, yeah. So what he did was special, and yeah, he'll probably he's had a pretty good year in college this year too. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of you mentioning the whole football over basketball thing, which I mean that is kind of like Alabama football is probably a lot bigger than it is the basketball. Like, can you just describe some of the frustration that some players have where they're living in the same state with these guys that are probably extremely recruited and get all his attention? Then this other sport is also super popular all around the country, kind of gets pushed under the rug over there.
Oh yeah, I mean, but basketball is a sport with, I mean, you only can have 15 guys on the court at the same time, so you feel like you get a little bit more attention. But you got a guy like um the guy that Thompson, like a big school in Alabama that it's pretty known really nationally, and you can have a guy who's probably not even ranked in the top 100 for his position, but he has more attention than anybody else in the state of Alabama for basketball than the few like J.D. Davidson and maybe Keyshawn. And so you do feel kind of brushed under the rug, but you do understand that you just gotta wait because your time will come. And yeah.
Definitely. And is there any chance, like, are you considering potentially leaving the state of Alabama to play high school basketball and maybe high school football, or are you just trying to kind of, put Alabama on the map maybe for basketball, or is it too early to tell?
It is a little early, but I do take pride now in being the Bama boy is my nickname with the AAU team. I take pride in that because I'm just trying to get our state's basketball scene on the map because we have good basketball over here. We play good basketball. We have great athletes and great size. Um, but it's never been out of the question because my parents have always told me that they're going to do what's best for my family, and so if we think of it necessary to move out for my family and my brothers to be more successful, we'll do it. But as of right now, it's probably too early to say anything, but probably not.
Definitely. And you said with the AAU team, they call you the Bama boy, TSF, great program.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about just what it's like playing with them and being a part of that team?
I mean that the chemistry of that team is incredible. I mean the heart of that team has been together since probably fifth or sixth grade. But all the guys who are kind of newer. I mean, I've been there for probably almost 2 years, and I still feel like a new guy. But we've added some pieces of recently. Brandon Gardner from South Carolina played with us this summer, and but it's an honor to play with those guys. I mean, you got guys like Cannon and Carlisle, Isaiah Collier, LT Overton, number one football player in the country for 247. Put him as. But all those guys are just great guys and even better athletes. I mean, they're just fun to play with, fun to be around, and great people overall.
And I know the answer to this question is going to be a yes, because no player is going to say we're not going to win Peach Jam if they're playing YBL. But I mean that's definitely a really loaded team. I would even say, like, I'm not going to hate on each one teach one because that's who everyone's saying they're going to win Peach
Oh
Jam.
yeah.
At least in this area and on Slam Magazine, so I'm not going to kind of hate on them. But I mean, it seems like you guys have a pretty solid case as well. Can you talk about what your chances would be like if you guys were playing in the YBL circuit over the summer?
Oh, I mean, we got. I think it's three top 30 players in the country right now, and so that's hard to argue with on one team. And there's been talk that Brandon Gardner should have been on there, but we got Taj Johnson, who I've played with for longer than that. But I mean, we're a reloaded team that plays well together. We all fit together. We don't have a lot of like our guards, Isaiah and Kanan are. I mean, they're known for being two of the best passers in the class, even though they'll score with anybody. So it's it's hard not to go with us, but if I got asked the question who's winning Peach Jam, I'd confidently answer us every time to anybody. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hate, but like, I didn't even like, I might pick you guys as the better team, but I'm not really sure. I haven't really seen. Well, I've definitely seen more of the guys on TSF in person
yeah.
than each one teach one, but
Mhm.
I've I have no idea what it's really looking like on both sides too much, but definitely build a team. Just extremely off topic, but has the game has the score changed or no?
It's actually 30-20. The Bucks just scored again, and I think Tom Brady's got the ball again. So they just kicked the field goal, and Tom Brady's already got the ball. So it looks like the Bucks got it right now. 2 minutes left. So
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But being from Alabama, were you there doing stuff with TSF over the summer this year, or were you just at home because of the virus?
oh no, we practiced at the Galloway gym a lot in Lake Point, which have incredible COVID regulations, and they did a really good job over there. And so I felt comfortable driving over there, and I'd head over there probably twice a week, and we'd get a workout in, and then sometimes we go Saturday, Sunday, and me and the outer state guy Brandon Gardner would spend the night in a hotel nearby, and uh, so I did get over there a lot. I did not as much as I was hoping to, but of course, with the situation we were in this summer with COVID and everything, I got a lot of work in that was really beneficial for this year.
Yeah, I guess coincidentally, like I've gone from I think Georgia or Tennessee. I've driven from there to Alabama before with my sleepaway camp, so I knew it wasn't that long of a drive. Like obviously did it this on
Mhm.
the same day, but I kind of forgot like how long does it take you to get from where you live to Atlanta?
I'm in kind of northeast Alabama, so it's really only an hour and a half of bad hour and a half, 2 hours with really bad traffic, but it usually an hour and 15 minutes to get there on just a normal day. So not a bad drive to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of a I don't know why I just feel like it's so much farther, but I have no idea why. But being a guy from out of town and having to travel that much just to get a practice in, like can you describe the life of one of those players? Because obviously, like with AAU nowadays and EYBL, like, you're seeing all the top players go from this guy lives in California, but he's playing for the team in Nevada or something like that. So can you talk about the life of one of those athletes where they're traveling really far distances to play AAU basketball?
A lot of napping on in the car. Especially when you got to be in Atlanta at 10. The time change is probably one of the things that's probably the craziest. Honestly, the time change is just that it's like a silent killer. Like calling from coaches and like just having designated times. You'll be off by an hour. So it's just a lot of waiting. It takes a little while to get warmed up, especially when you're driving an hour and a half and the team you're playing is traveled from probably 15 minutes away and they slept in their own bed and you're in a hotel. But honestly, it's worth it. It's just getting the experience of playing with all of those guys from over there and getting the exposure. It's worth it.
Yeah. Did you guys end up playing any games over the summer or no?
Um, we got into the Battle of Georgia late. Um, but we won the Battle of Georgia. I played up with 2022 against the Elite All Stars, Nike All Stars in that game. I got to play in that game. And then we played one small tournament at the very beginning of the year. I think maybe in March. No, it wasn't March because March we were in lockdown. It was early. It might have been April. And then we went back and everything was shut down. So we got probably six games. I got 6 games over the summer.
Okay, so playing up, like I guess as one, how did you get the opportunity to play up like that?
So we practiced 2023 practices with 2022, and I mean we battled it out against each other. The motto over there is iron sharpens iron, and so we go at each other every time we're over there. 2022 versus 2023, and the way like that they needed another guy one weekend. They were missing a big man, and so I get a call from the director over there at TSF, and he pulled me, Kane, and Isaiah up to play the. It was kind of just a put together game. They threw it together over at Lake Point, and it was a good experience. Got to play some great talent. JD, of course, was on that team. Um, then Mel, Antonio Kite from Alabama, who's actually really close to home over in Anniston. So it was a fun game to play in, and I got to get some good minutes and good time against some really good competition.
Is playing up was that like a big difference for you, or did it feel like the same when you're playing against the guys your age as well?
Honestly, the only difference was strength. Strength is I mean, obviously, as you're growing, you put on a lot more muscle, and those guys are a lot stronger. Finishing through contact a lot more difficult, and but other than that, the height difference wasn't a whole lot that changed. Just a lot of strength was a big deal playing up in 17U. So.
And I forgot to ask this, I guess, a little more in the beginning. We were talking about AU basketball, but TSF, I would say, is kind of like an Atlanta-based thing. I don't know if is that kind of where they're based, like Atlanta? Is that fair to
Oh
say?
yeah, all their guys are from the Marietta area, right around Atlanta.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So then how did you get how they kind of find out about you, and how did that all come to be where you were able to join them since you're not from the main area?
So I played with the Georgia Stars 2023 team. This was probably about eighth grade, so probably about 2 years ago. Um,
Wait,
I
wait,
got on
wait,
there.
wait, sorry, wait. Before you continue, can you then explain how you got the opportunity to play with the Georgia Stars? Since
Oh
again,
yeah,
that's out of state. Because I mean, I was gonna ask that next anyway, so might as well get that out of the way.
yeah. So my coach at high school was a women's coach in Tennessee, like for an AAU team or something like that, and he had a connection with somebody with Georgia Stars, and just kind of let him know. He's like I got a big man coming at my high school right now, and he seems pretty good, and so I got out there. Well, actually, hold on. I'm gonna go back. Also played with
All right.
I played with DCA as well before this. I played with DCA out of Atlanta, Georgia, Dream Chasers Academy, and that happened with my coach. That was the connection that my coach had was with DCA. I one of DCA broke apart pretty bad, and so they had got a bunch of guys out of Georgia Stars, and I followed one of my teammates there, and then I played with Georgia Stars the entire summer. And then we played TSF twice. I mean that eighth grade team was stacked. I mean there's videos on YouTube and everywhere on Slam High School about how that team was stacked. And we played them, and I had a really good game. I think I had like 12 points and a half. We got in foul trouble the first time we played, and then ended up with like probably 14 or 16 in the second game. And their organization kind of and then I left the tournament the next day for family reasons, and so the coach couldn't find me. And then right before the Made Hoops National Championship in Augusta, I get a call asking if I want to play in it with TSF, and so I mean that's kind of an offer you can't turn down. And that was a great experience as well, playing with those guys, and that's where it all started. Been with them since then. So
Yeah, it definitely sounds super awesome. And I guess before we end this interview, I kind of want to talk about. I think are you literally the number one player in Alabama for your class? I think you are, but I just want to.
yeah,
I'm
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's obviously like a pretty cool thing to say. You know, I'm the best player in my state, at least for my class. Like, I mean, if you kind of stay consistent and keep that number one ranking, when you're a senior, unless there's some extremely talented guy younger than you, like that Gatorade Player of the Year is coming to you.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, is that just something crazy to think about? Like, you know, I'm the number one player like in my class in the state I'm in. Like, how crazy is that?
It is kind of crazy, but I'm just trying to work and top every list I get on. I'm working to try to be the top player in Alabama, top player regardless of class in Alabama, and then work on becoming the top player in the country and just slowly climb the ladder from there. But the plan is right now is I'm trying to get 2 Gatorade Player of the Years. I'm trying to shoot for it next year. So yeah.
And when you did find out that, or whatever you find, whatever, when you either find or found out, I don't know if like thinking, but whenever that was discovered that you were the number one player in Alabama for your class, can you take us through that day and how were you able to find that out?
It was. I'm trying to think. It was during football. Well, it was during workouts for football. And we had early morning workouts. It was so 8 a.m. We're at the workout room working out, socially distanced and whatever. And I had my phone sitting down next to the bench, and we're working out, and I hear it going off and going crazy, and the Instagram's buzzing, and so I look at my phone, and I look in Face ID clicks, and all the notifications slide down, and it was just a bunch of congrats to Cade Phillips on being the number one player, and so it was exciting to be with all my guys who I play football with, and most of the guys who play football play basketball as well. So it was fun to be surrounded by them and just go through that experience with them.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy for sure. And I just pulled up. So when I guess after I posted my interview with I think it was with Kanan. So then I guess I tagged the Skill Factory, like a bunch of that stuff, and then I was talking to them like that's how we got this thing set up because they help me in touch with you and all that. Blessed with them doing that. And they told me so. I told them like I'll interview like whatever like players like these and like okay cool we have this guy he had 10 dunks in a game. He's going to become after this next summer best big in the country. Can you talk about just what it's like having a team just so confident in you like that?
Oh, it's great. Once again, I can't talk enough about the staff at TSF. All the director Adam Gibbs, all the way down to our trainers, my coach, the coach of the class above us. It's just great. The atmosphere there, and the amount of confidence they have in me for being an out-of-state player. Like usually teams in out-of-state, I mean, they're loyal to their guys in their state, and I don't blame them. But me coming from a different state and them just welcoming me and having that confidence in me is just, I mean, it boosts my level of play because I'm playing for them. I can't let them down, and so it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me, and I'm thankful for it all the time.
And with that 10 dunk game that they mentioned, can you talk about how you're able to pull that off?
Well, we threw out 1-3-1 at this team that was not expecting a 1-3-1. And I had a 7'3" wingspan, and so getting in the passing lane up at the top is a little easier. And so it did hurt my rebounds being up at the top, but I was allowed. I did get some leak outs and a lot of steals. I had probably about 6 or 7 steals that game, and those just all led to dunks. And yeah, so that's really how it was. And jumping off 2 feet with a lot of like short corner and hop steps. So that's really how that 10 dunk game happened.
Yeah, I also make sure I heard this right. You said you have a 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah, I do.
Man, that's crazy because I know my opinion. Like I love watching Musa Diabate play, and they said
Yeah.
he was 7 foot 1 wingspan. I think. So that's kind of that's pretty scary to think of.
Oh yeah.
But going back to the whole number one ranking kind of thing, like when you're number one, you can't get much better. You can either stay the same or decline. Which I mean, that's almost kind of tough. Like I almost always be able to get better and just keep climbing the rankings till the very end. And now you kind of have a lot more pressure where there's no much more better than you could do except for stay the same or again go down. So is that ever something like really hard on you? Like where every time you just gotta prove that you're the best guy out there because if not, like you're gonna drop.
It does put a target on your back in games. But honestly, it's never been about rankings for me. It's been about improving my game and getting to the next level. So right now, the next level is college, and once I commit and go to college, the next level is gonna be the NBA, and then once I get to the NBA, it's gonna be just as high as I can go. And so just see how high I can take it. But after I got ranked number one in state, it was kind of like something clicked in my mind, like it's time to get go for national. And so luckily, I think it was 2 days ago, Rivals came out with their top 30,
Yeah,
and
I'm putting that up right now because I just wanted to make sure I don't want to say anything like not true, but yeah.
yeah, so I was blessed to get ranked by Rivals at top 28, and so that was just some extra fuel to just push harder and just have that list ahead of me, the 27 guys to on the list ahead of me, just slowly tick down on them and just get up there as high as I can get and just chase that number one spot.
Yeah, and I wouldn't consider you a late bloomer, but obviously, like I think that's your first time being ranked on Rivals and all of that. So how special of a moment was that for you? Since that was your first time being ranked on such a big platform.
It was in B block in class, so it was an early morning class, and once again my phone was blowing up, and I looked at my friend and just smiled because I just couldn't contain it, and went to the bathroom and just called family, and it was a special moment, especially being a late bloomer. Did get into the AAU game a lot later than most of these guys. I grew a lot later than most of these guys. I was 6'4" in 8th grade. Well, I know that's still very tall, but I mean the bully twins
Yeah,
were like six.
that's great. I was not. I mean, I'm like 6 foot now. I think maybe
Yeah.
6'1", but I was definitely not 6'4" in
Oh
eighth grade.
yeah,
That's like,
no.
I mean, that's bigger than my dad. That's that if you were 6'4" in eighth grade, that's as big as like that's maybe like an inch smaller than like the biggest player on my school's basketball team. And we're not like a bad team, so that's pretty
Yeah.
big.
Oh, it was, but I threw on 4 inches from eighth grade to ninth grade, or no, it was more like 2 or 3, and so I did have a pretty big growth spurt over that summer, and even this summer I threw on another inch, maybe inch and a half, and so I'm a generally late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer, but just it just so happens I was a little taller as a kid that it didn't show as much.
Yeah. Are you expecting to stop growing now, or you think you still got a couple more inches left?
My arms, I broke my thumb during football season and had an X-ray, and my arm growth platelets are still open, and so I also had an X-ray on my back last year, and it said I have my growth plates in my back are wide open. So I'm thinking 2 more inches and hoping for 2 more inches of height though on.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. But like the one thing, at least for myself, I honestly, I personally, I hope I don't grow anymore. Like I'm not an athlete, so I don't need the height. Like I don't, I never want to be one of those giants. Like I mean, at least with my friends, like I'm usually the tallest guy there, and I don't know, I'm not like I love standing out, but I don't want to stand out because of my height. I like more my personality more.
Yeah.
Having both is cool too, I guess, but I'm not too big of a fan of being like one of the taller guys compared to my friends, but for you, like you probably just tower, like you tower over me. So do you ever like? Is there anything bad about being tall, or do you like that?
It makes a regular grocery trip run a lot harder. You'll have all the grandmothers asking how tall you are, and then
Yeah,
telling you a story about how their grandson's 6 foot, and just so it does make it. But really, that's really it. I enjoy it. It's fun. I've been truly blessed. God's blessed me with a lot of size, a lot of height, and a great family. My entire family has played Division One. Most of them in Alabama, and so I've been blessed with this, with my body and my height and size, and so that there's really nothing bad about it. I can't name something. I do stand out in the crowd a lot, probably about head and shoulders high, but that's really it. Not too much bad.
so with the whole grandma thing, so that's like not like that, that's truly that's what really happens.
Oh, all the time. Just running through the grocery store, you'll have a random old lady tap you on the back or shoulder and be like, ask how tall you are, and if you play basketball, and then they'll be like, yeah, my grandson's 6'4", and it's honestly it's comical how much it happens. So it's so fun. It's funny.
Yeah, and when they ask like, "Do you play basketball?" Have you ever tried throwing in those funny responses like, "No, I play golf," or like, "I swim," or something like that? Or
Uh,
have you never done that yet?
I have thrown those out before. I have thrown those out before, with especially around friends. I'll throw the response like I'm a swim team. I'm actually a chess player. So when I'm with friends, but usually when I'm by myself, I'll be nice and just tell them I play basketball and just smile and laugh. So
Yeah, and I just find it because you said you went from like whatever 6'4" in eighth grade to 6'8", but when were you 6 foot, like 6 feet then? When was that?
um, oh, it would have been sixth grade, sixth
Oh my
grade.
god,
So
that's crazy.
I
That is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, that was when I started getting close to dunking. Was about sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade area was when I really was like this basketball thing is going to be fun, and I really started hitting a stride is what I should say. And then probably this last summer is when I kicked into another gear, and I put on another inch or two, and probably 10 more pounds. So
Yeah, something you remind me of. I was not gonna ask this question, but I'm glad you reminded me. But again, like your basketball recruitment is obviously going really well. But with football being so popular in Alabama, like, were you expecting maybe to be a better football player, like, or did you have a good feeling basketball was like the better sport for you?
well, my entire family has played football. My uncle was a quarterback in Alabama. My dad was a quarterback in Alabama. My granddad was a defensive end there, and so as a child, everybody was like, he's gonna be he's the quarterback prodigy, he's the football prodigy, and just so happened that I just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing and just never really stopped growing. So it I never felt pressure. My dad did a great job of never putting pressure on me to play football. He was always just telling me to be true to myself and how God made me to be. And as of right now, it's basketball, and there's never been pressure to take a college either. So I've been blessed to have that in my life. So
And like you mentioned your family. Are you the tallest one out of your family, or is there someone else out there that's just even bigger?
I have a granddad who's 6'8". Well, maybe not 6'8" anymore, but he's definitely the tallest or was. But since he's gotten older, he's probably gotten shorter. So I'm probably I'm the tallest now in the family as of right now.
Okay, and this is gonna be a random final question, but Alabama football, obviously, you kind of have that like, that they got that storybook Alabama football family, which is pretty crazy. Can you talk about like just what's that like? Because Alabama's a legendary program, just having that being your family like that in terms of football, like can you explain what it's like growing up around that?
It's honestly it's been nothing but a blessing. I mean, my parents having the Division 1 level, like honestly, the knowledge of it and the work ethic and understanding what it takes to be in that next level. Most can rarely any kids get that, and so that's a head start I got as a kid, and I'm not taking it for granted. But yeah, so I was blessed with that, and they just give me the ins and outs and almost not really the little secrets of just being an athlete, but just going into the work ethic, and they really understand what it takes to make it at that level.
And luckily for you, Alabama, they're still really good at football, so it's not like you're rooting for a bad team or anything like that because they
Oh
just
yeah.
won the national championship like less than a week ago. So
Oh yeah, they're still good. I haven't watched a game and since I was a tot like at the stadium since I was probably a toddler. Um, so I haven't kept up with Alabama as much as people would think. I
yeah,
haven't.
yeah,
I'm not.
that's my question. I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, game days like tradition. Like
No.
I'm like in shock right now.
Oh no. When I tell people this, it's crazy. I'm really the opposite of a diehard Alabama fan. I mean, it was a great school for my parents, but I've never really just fell in love with their football and the game days. But I mean, like a Saturday in Alabama is that's something different. Like not places shut down. I mean, it's go time for fans everywhere. It's something crazy.
Yeah, so did you not even watch the national championship game or anything?
I watched part of it when I watched the first half and in my basement, and then once Alabama was up for probably about 2 3 touchdowns, I went and hopped on PlayStation and 'cause I mean it was a blowout after that. So
Yeah, that's definitely crazy. But yeah, I guess so. We made it to the end of the interview. This might be I think this might be my best one. I want to start doing this whole like no question kind of thing. I
yeah.
mean, you definitely have a lot of share. You're pretty interesting guy as we discovered. But yeah, thank you for your time. Let me just plug our Instagrams real quick. So make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram
Mm.
at Cade Phillips 12. I actually wait. I gotta ask number 12. When I see this, I always ask a question at the end if I see there's number in the bio, because then like I mean, is number 12 is that a number that you wear in any sport or is that
Um,
significance?
I will. So they number 12 is retired at my school for basketball, so I wear number 21 just because honestly, just 'cause I think 21 is a cool number. But my dad wore number 12 at Alabama. And so it's kind of got something behind it. And my dad's got me through everything in life. So and I've been blessed to have him. And so that's really what 12 comes from. And it's an important number to me. Just with what's behind it. So
All right, yeah, because that's why I think like I'll be saying like this stuff, and then I see there's a number, and I'm like, oh wait, like this can have a significance. So then I always gotta throw in there at the end. But yeah, again, follow us on Instagram at Cade Phillips 12. I'm at iHoopsFL, and anyways, yeah, shout out to you for doing this with me. Shout out to Skills Factory for hooking me up with you. Appreciate them. But yeah, so for the number one player in Alabama in the 2023 class, Cade Phillips, I'm Isaac Fleisch, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.